Hey y'all, it is June. I'm not even sure what's the date. The 14th? It's Donald Trump's birthday. 2020, y'all. I hope you're having a wonderful time. I'm not even sure what Donald Trump's doing. I forgot it was his birthday today. Alright, but it's, like I said, June the 14th. I'm just sitting here and I wanted to go ahead and, I don't know, just jump on. It's an awkward time of the day. You know what I'm saying? But I thought I would. All right. I could have waited a little bit later to a little bit more appropriate time of the day. And maybe next time I will. But, there is a broadcast on YouTube. I guess I'll just go ahead and cut to the chase. That I was going to go ahead and check out. And I wanted to do it in real time, because they're going to go live. And I'll just show you it real quick. And then we'll take just a glance at some of the other stuff's happening on Nazi ran YouTube. Shameless YouTube. All right. We're going to take just a quick look, but there was something that I wanted to watch. No, certainly we're going to talk about all sort of riots. Probably. And my opinion of them. And if I don't elaborate in too much details, because man, I just ate a meal, and you ever do that? You just ate one of those meals and stuff, and honestly, you could lay it down and go to sleep right now. All right, you don't have time for all the guff and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I might lay it down, but I might lay it down real brief and stuff. Yeah, have you ever had that? Or you eat so much? I ate a little bit too much. All right, I'm kind of like a roly-poly right now. Actually, I think I passed it. What I was looking for, I wanted to show you. The reason that I'm actually doing it a little bit early tonight is because I just wanted to jump on. Didn't really matter to me what time I jumped on right now. All right, but also because I wanted to catch something in real time. Where is it? Ah, man, I totally passed it up. I wanted to show you. I guess it really doesn't matter if... Oh, there it goes. It's in the gray box right there. It says you can't stop progress. And it's 157th episode by I Hypocrite. I want to shout out to this dude right here because I don't know that he's the only one, but he's doing something that I find real crucial. That I wish honestly that I could do myself, and perhaps I could. It would take a long time for me, all right? And I don't quite have the technology. I don't mean to put out excuses, but I Hypocrite, he does have the technology, and he takes advantage. And he does these things, and it's going to start in T minus 47 minutes, all right? Hopefully, in which he just puts all sort of videos, all sort of viral videos from maybe this week or from recently or something that we should see. It'll be randomly just mushed together, all right, for about an hour, for an hour and a half, even 2 hours long sometimes. You got these You Can't Stop Progress things in the montage. And why I find it so crucial is it's very good on a Sunday evening because obviously that's what a lot of people use to wrap it up. That's the end of their weekend, as we refer. I see somebody's up in the building and appreciate it. Holler at you. And holler back at me if you want to. We're having an early broadcast. I did want to touch base. All right, depending on who you are, I probably want to hear from you and what you're doing, what's popping in the streets near you. Because I really have no idea. I gotta let you know. As far as wherewithal, when it comes to in your particular area, I probably have no idea what's going on right now, and I don't barely know what's going on in my area and stuff. But speaking on behalf of America, I gotta say, man, I appreciate everybody out there all across the world, all right? But everybody talks about America, and everybody's talking about the rioting. And there's riots and stuff. They seem to be going on every night. I personally work overnight and stuff, and so it's like when I'm working, all this stuff's happening, and whatever. I go to sleep, and then I wake up and I hear about it, and I hear about it much later in the day than most people hear about it if they're keeping tuned to it. Everything kind of passes me by in that way, and I've let these riots definitely pass me by. They might be very concerning for people out there, especially if they're in and around them. think people should be very concerned about it. I think, honestly, I'm not too concerned about it because I'm not seeing it around me. And I know, man, downtown San Antonio might be a different story. I can't even say about downtown San Antonio, to be honest. I remember maybe a week, a little bit more or so ago, there was some sort of riot. And I bet you could look it up if you wanted to. You can Google it. There's some sort of riot that they had in downtown San Antonio, if you will, I guess. There's probably bigger riots after the San Antonio Spurs winning the damn championship. Lord knows everybody went downtown. I mean, everybody for no reason goes downtown and just like gets in a traffic jam and just starts dancing and yelling at each other whenever the San Antonio Spurs win the championship, all right? But they had some sort of riot. I don't know exactly what that looked like. I heard they busted up a Whataburger, and they had it in the news. Whataburger, which is a burger place here in Texas, and it's supposedly Texas pride and stuff, man. We got all sort of diabetes, and we get it in all sort of ways, to include Whataburger. All right, we're very proud of it. And someone smashed out that window. Someone smashed out some windows and stuff, like, I guess, down the street. Ever since then, I don't know, maybe I'll Google it. But ever since then, I haven't really heard about no more riots here in San Antonio. And I can't imagine why we would have any riots. Anywhere, ever. I want to be, let's just go ahead and jump into the broadcast, the official broadcast. And then, like, all this stuff's so controversial. I don't care, dude. I want to be the first one to say it, and then I want someone to come up and say, you need to apologize because the opinion is it's too much. It's too much. And I'll be like, I don't care. I'm not apologizing about anything. Or it's like, I don't even care about this. If we take it back to the man who honestly has nothing to do with any of these riots, George Floyd, honestly, at this point, just don't even care. It's like, oh man, this stuff happens. Oh man. Some people don't even believe it. In fact, I don't believe it. I mean, because I don't care. I really don't. I don't care so much that I don't believe it, and I won't be made to believe it. And you could tell me to apologize and all this sort of stuff, man. It's like, well, YouTube doesn't even know that I'm broadcasting right now. You know what I'm saying? I do this on the low, all right? But I think definitely it's about time. I think people out there would agree, especially in consideration for white folks, all right? Especially that. And I heard some of that earlier today. And it's not to split people up, but it's like, man, these white folks out here just need to stop giving an F. Am I right? I think that's what people miss about in the world. And I will keep an eye on the comments, but let me know if I'm right. I think white people, if you're going to put it in a category, I mean, like if you're going to put me in that category, fine. It don't matter to me. But it's like, all right, white people need to stop giving an F, dude. And we just need to start saying whatever, dude. Oh, my kids, and they would go after us just like the wicked ways that they do financially. They'll try to go after family and friends, and they'll even try to go after your dog and your cat. All right, they won't stop. All right, but who cares, man? I'm tired of this. Everybody's running around and stuff. Now, shoot, we'll take a little peruse through YouTube. I know you want to see what's on my feed. Obviously, you've looked through your feed, and somehow you came across me, and I appreciate you this evening. It's an awkward hour. But as I mentioned, I have half a mind to catch this. You Can't Stop Progress by Hypocrite when it's going live streamed. At 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, and I have a mind to give them some money, all right? Just a little bit of money. It's like, it's nobody's business, but the thing is, man, every Sunday for the past, I don't know, at least 3 weeks, I've come across this hypocrite stuff, man, and it's enthralled me. I mean, it really got, you know what I'm saying, whenever something like, I don't know, it caters to your every wants and desires and stuff, Some people see that on Netflix and stuff, and they go and they watch The Tiger King. Do you know what I mean? Like, they get all into it, and they're like, I'm going to binge watch this season and stuff. I don't have time to binge watch nothing, but every week, the guy, he lays it down in the videos and stuff, and anybody could do this if they have the proper technology, and of course I don't. But I appreciate him. So it's like, if I don't have the technology, but I happen to have a couple dollars, it's like, dude, he's doing it just the way I would do it if I could do it and stuff. And basically, As I mentioned before, if you never heard of this, you can catch it live stream. It's going to happen in a little while, but it's a montage of all the viral videos. And so when you run through it, you're going to see some of the viral videos that you've obviously seen on the internet as you've been lurking all throughout the week. And you're going to be reminded of those various videos that you've seen. And you'll be like, oh man, somebody else saw that. Yeah, it went viral. Everybody saw it all at the same time. And then you're going to see all these videos that you hadn't even seen. I mean, most of the videos are going to be those that you haven't even seen. And then, like, for example, you're going to be like, wow, it's an unbelievable amount of stuff. It's unbelievable. And I think I want to point that out. It's especially crucial. And actually, although I'm overwhelmed by things like TikTok, TikTok also is so crucial because it's so funny, and we already are on the same page, obviously. But we look around at the world and we think it's so funny. Why would you watch the news and they do like their little? They describe the situation the best they can. They cut the commercials and stuff, and they try to fearmonger you all the time. And meanwhile, everything is happening and getting videotaped and uploaded to the internet, and the news doesn't even know about any of it. It doesn't even come close, and it's like it's not entertaining. And so people watch it, and you think, "Wow, they find it entertaining." I don't think so. I don't think they do. I think they are so in love with the lie that just can't help it. It isn't entertaining. It's the opposite of that. But I'm a hypocrite with the Can't Stop Progress. That is entertainment. Me, I'm over here. We're just talking about some stuff, and maybe that's entertaining. I don't know, but I'm gonna only do it briefly and stuff. And you won't get such a wherewithal as in one of these video compilations. Or like I said, you can go on TikTok and see all sort of people rioting, causing chaos and mayhem and stuff like that. And meanwhile, on the news, they're obviously gonna show you only pinpoint the very thing they want you to talk about and nothing else. And then you're supposed to believe in it. You're supposed to apologize about it. You're supposed to want things a whole different way. You're supposed to want to not have the police and stuff. And it's like, oh man. We'll probably touch base upon those sort of points a little bit later. But before we do, let's just take a peruse through YouTube and stuff. And I will keep an eye on the comments just in case you'll have something for me to discuss. But in the meantime, we got unjustified turmoil in America. See, this is what I'm going to find on my YouTube feed. And I got to say, even though I like all these people and I'm subscribed to all these people, I go ahead and I just don't even care about it. And I don't watch them. But I like looking at the titles. For example, Blair and Strober, A Toast with the Most. I don't know what the heck that means. But Atlanta protests at a Wendy's. See, people are and it's like, oh man, we keep using these words. And they're like word traps because this has nothing to do with protests. What kind of protest would you when you're burning down Wendy's? What does that even mean? Doesn't mean anything. But however, Living Room Gangster and Ock Nation, I like his stuff, man. He's probably got a more entertaining thing than me. He's probably got videos playing, all sort of stuff burning down, to include a Wendy's. Over some guy got shot. It's like, dude, it's so like I care so little. I don't know about you out there. Can't speak for you out there. I care so little that it just doesn't. It's like, who cares? Like, oh, this guy. Oh, some guy got shot. Oh, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Oh, he was resisting arrest. Well, it makes sense that he would get shot, right? Oh, he was trying to shoot at a cop with a taser. Well, I don't care. It's none of my business, and it doesn't mean nothing to me, right? And if I lived in Atlanta, it would mean even less. I'd be like, who cares? Yeah, he did what? Well, whatever. Who cares? And it's like, I don't know this person, right? So people are all taking up for him, obviously, to include family and all this, and I've seen that or whatever, but I just didn't care. Like, any of the details does not matter to me and stuff. And I wonder, it's like, who's going to be the first one to ask me to apologize for the fact is I don't care about it? I wonder. That's going to be my whole stick from here on out because... not that I'm like, what do you say, like black pilled or anything. Not that I just totally like, oh, I don't care about anything and whatever. But it's like when it comes to these specific instances that everybody knows about. Oh, we're supposed to know about this. Oh, we know this guy got killed. We got to know about it. Oh man, that person over there, he got killed. Oh, we got to know about it. It's like, no, I don't care about it at all. You say, well, what? Don't Black Lives Matter? It's like that's an organization that I don't care about. I don't care about it at all. And you feel like, oh man, but the police, they're brutalizing people and stuff. You don't care about it? No, not at all. Um, you know, it's also controversial, and I brought it up before, just because we're on it, just because we're on that tip. I want to bring up, it's like, I don't care. And also, the police, I've had interactions with the police here in San Antonio a number of times, all right? More times than I would like. And it always is kind of ends up the same way, basically. Either I go to jail or I don't go to jail. And this and that, right? But it's like, no, there's no resistance. There's never any running away. There's never, and that's what's weird about it. It's like, a long time ago, we were taught something about white privilege, and I never could figure out what it is or where do I get it? Where can I get me some? I never did figure that out, right? And I tried to really, really hard, but I couldn't. But it just came to me because things are all getting revealed, and that's what's crucial. That's what's crucial about TikTok. That's what's crucial about the iHypocrite stuff, is that it's getting revealed, and some people might see it and they want to fight against it. I agree, let's fight against it, all right? But at the same time, can't lose our cool, right? Because this isn't about winning. We're gonna win, right? And I'm talking esoterically, but people who know what I'm talking about. I'm saying we win in the end, all right? There's no question about that. But at the same time, things are getting revealed to us, and it's nutballs, right? It's absolutely nutballs. I don't know who I have in the building right now, and I don't know who you are. I might offend you, and you might never come back. You might run away crying from the computer, but white privilege is what I figured out. White privilege is, and only is, the idea of the cops coming and you don't resist. And you say, yes, sir, no, sir. You want, yeah, I'll get you this. You want my this and that paperwork? Can I get it from the glove compartment? Okay, yes, sir. Am I going to jail? I guess so. All right. My hands behind my back. All right. That is white privilege. That is exactly what white privilege is. Black Lives Matter doesn't matter because it doesn't even speak on behalf of black people necessarily. And white privilege, it doesn't matter who you are. You could just not resist the police. And that would be for the best. Thing is, people, they get themselves in deadly situations. I don't want to explain about the whole Middle East for people who haven't been there. I haven't been there either. I would rather live in America than the Middle East for that very reason. And that, the police aren't exactly they're not exactly gonna murder me like perhaps in other countries where it's just like all mayhem and stuff, right? And that's why I like the police, and that's why most people like the police. In fact, we know the police a lot of the times. But that's the white privilege, and that's what they've been getting at, and that's what's been getting me from not getting murdered all this whole time. Come to find out, just easily go. And people, it's so weird, man. It's so weird to think that people get so scared of going to jail. You're so scared of it. The jails must be so scary to some people, right? And I've been there. I've been a child before. I didn't want to go to jail as a child, and I never did. But thing is, it's not just go to jail, dude. How hard is it? Right? I don't care about your stuff. I'll laugh about it and stuff. Man, people don't. It's like I hope I never get so well known because they're not gonna like what I say about it. I don't think they're gonna like it. All right, but I haven't got murdered, and it's just for that reason. Thing is, jail's not all that scary. Can you get over it? Can you get over it? Just go to jail. And then, because it's called holding court in the streets, that's what it's called. People are over here having riots and they're calling them protests. No, that's not the word. That's not even the word, but it's called not holding court in the streets. Go ahead and get arrested. All right? Please just get arrested. It's not that hard. And then if they arrested you for a wrong reason, I've seen all these videos about it, and they'll be like, oh, why am I getting arrested? Shut up and get arrested, dude. Why is there a video about you resisting arrest? You shouldn't be arguing about it either. You might say, well, that cop might take all sort of things. He might take my life in his hands. It's like, yeah, he might, but he's probably not going to, right? I don't know. Anyways, I'll talk about that a little bit more in a second, just because I felt like there's certain things that I wanted to talk about. We haven't really addressed the main topic of what I was thinking about earlier. All right, I'm gonna save it a little bit towards the end. All right, so that we can really dive into it. But I spent all this whole time, and we haven't even looked through YouTube. Right, 2020 will be remembered of the year of the grand solar minimum. There's a minimum of the sun going on. All right. And that sounds, it honestly does sound important. I do want to know more about it, but I don't want to know more about it right now. Nordic weather, it's talking about this sort of stuff. It's a cycle. And, it's like I'm kind of into that sort of stuff, but it's a little bit over my head right now. Dems kneel at African slave traders' garb, and everybody saw this. All right, it's these things. It's like people used to, people talked about these things. And they still talk about the things, and I'm just not even entertaining. God, it used to be so fantastical. I would hear about all sort of things, and I'd be like, wow, this is just unbelievable. I can't believe that they did this sort of stuff. But when Nancy Pelosi and Jerry Nadler and all them dropped to their knees and were wearing African garb as a total damn disgrace to America, it's like I was just not entertained at that point, and everybody knew about it. Everybody saw about it. People were talking about it, and I've seen a half a dozen different people tell me, those particular garbs. It comes to find out is the garbs that were worn by actual slave traders in Africa, right? And isn't that like insult on top of injury? The answer is yes, right? Whether they knew it or not, they're ran by a spirit, and that spirit conducts them to be as offensive as humanly possible every living second of the day. And so when you say that Hillary Clinton smells really bad, I'll believe you, right? Even though I don't have to believe anything, right? And of course they wore slave traders garb, right? It's ridiculous. Blackie McBlack, Black. Dang it, dude, it's all over my YouTube thing. And that's the reason why it's like, I can't get away from it. This thing that I can't get away from. Coronavirus, I got away from that so hard and so fast. And everybody did. Dude, it hardly didn't even exist. Could have been made up. But this whole black thing, it's like, dude, I can't even get away from it. Chaz. The Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone complete walkthrough. That's going to be crazy. If you haven't checked that out, slightly offensive. It's been doing just miraculous work, I think. He's over there on the Blaze TV, man. Slightly offensive. And I forget what's the guy's name, but he just puts in amazing work. So that's going to be pretty dang good, too. I mean, if you wanted to cruise through the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, otherwise known as Chaz, I'm not entertaining this stuff, man. These people are just wasting everybody's time. Bar fine live at Atlanta riots last night. Dang. Oh, man, it's only a minute long. I don't know how good the audio is going to be, but I just can't go past this, and I'm liable to forget about it if I do. And it's only a minute long. Let's see what we got on this one. Alright, it looks like a scene from Demolition Man. It's no big deal. Alright, so thus far we have had, I wonder how clear y'all can see it actually, because it's really kind of annoying, but I put my personal light, I put it very low. I don't know if that messes with y'all's screen at all, right? But it made it to where I can't see nothing hardly. And still, I don't see it. I can't really see much. I know that there's sirens going on. There's calamity and stuff. People carrying on. It might be close to a burnt down Wendy's, but I'm not sure. Barfine, you never know where Barfine's at. He's kind of a man of mystery. It's kind of all over the place. He'll end up in Asia before you know it and stuff, and just call you from Asia. And so he found his way to Atlanta and stuff, so he's taking some footage of it, some first-hand footage. Let's see if anything interesting happens, and I wouldn't blame him if nothing interesting happens. Cop coming down the street. Got their lights on. There's people standing on the other side of the street. They're carrying on. Now people are running, I guess. All right, that was, I appreciate the video being uploaded because we need to know, but at the same time, like I said, even though I appreciate it, it's just like, I don't know, maybe that's just how I feel on a Sunday evening or whatever, but maybe it's going to carry on. Like I said, I might be that guy, all right, I just can't. All right, but at the same time, the Civil War, it's different rhetoric being thrown around. And I don't know about you over there. I will check the comments in a second. Just maybe you want to weigh in on this, all right? But a lot of people have been saying the term Civil War. A lot of people say, a lot of people have different varying opinions about everything, about, I don't know, the Black Lives Matter thing and the police roughing up people, and some people have opinions on Donald Trump and how he's reacting to the whole thing and stuff. And everything's kind of surrounding this sort of calamity in America. And meanwhile, the calamity is happening everywhere else too. Shout out to y'all's calamity all around the world. I think it might be a pyramid-shaped world, and I thought about it long and hard, and honestly, I think it might be a pyramid, and call me what you will. I'm not saying about anybody's religion or anything, but it makes more sense that it's like a upside down pyramid, almost like a dreidel, and it spins just like the sun spins or whatever. I don't know, but it's like a dreidel. All right, but anyways, people are arguing like it's a Civil War, and that's the thing. You can get all riled up perhaps because of the idea of the Civil War. Say, oh man, right now it's a Civil War and stuff, and now I can't sleep at night. Now this and that's happening, I get all stressed. And it's like, well, I don't see the point in that. But I would say that the Civil Wars definitely began, and it actually began a long time ago. And I couldn't even tell you when, right? Perhaps right before I became a baby. I don't know. That's what it seems like. And it's a civil war of ideals and stuff. It's a civil war of a way of people's thinkings or thought processes. But if you go even further, I believe everybody will agree. Right? I don't think anybody disagrees. This is a spiritual division taking place, perhaps a cleansing, if you will. And just don't call me a Hitler or whatever, but a cleansing, a divide taking place. And it's beyond our intellect. There's no way our intellect could figure out a solution to these problems and stuff. All right, it really is. That's why things are getting revealed to us that we just couldn't fathom before 2020, and now it's happening. All right, so yeah, the Civil War has been here, and it's a big thing. It's a big deal, and it does turn into actual people killing each other all across the nation. Just like if you remember the last Civil War, and then all these other countries, they've also had civil wars. And they might not talk about the whole lead up to the Civil War, but there's a huge lead up to the Civil War. And we've been living that for a long time. So it is a Civil War, all right? And a lot of people are going to die, perhaps, and stuff in gruesome ways. Perhaps myself. I don't count myself out in that whole deal, but it's being revealed to us, these things that we needed to know, all right? That we needed to know, that we just didn't know before. HBO Max confiscates Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam's guns, and it's nothing to laugh at? I don't know what the hell that means. I think I know what that means, and that people are, look, it's being revealed to us, right? I didn't know I was going to say this, but now I'm saying this, or I kind of did know I was going to say this. But I couldn't say it until now. They're retroactively going through Looney Tunes cartoons and getting rid of guns and stuff out of Elmer Fudd's hands. I swear, I heard that someone that they got rid of the gun, and then they gave him a big sword or some stuff, or like a bow and arrow. None of that's even better because all that stuff will kill you anyways. but they were like, oh, well, you can't have a gun no more. So they took it out of Elmer Fudd's hands and stuff, man. That reminds me actually personally of a DVD video or a DVD that I'd gotten. I purchased it maybe over 10 years ago. And I went to a DVD place and they just had like just all sort of DVDs, just all sort. It was like a library of them. And I got this one of just old cartoons, like some had Mickey Mouse basically, like just but the old cartoons, old cartoons. I saw Tom and Jerry actually, old Tom and Jerry, but like Tom and Jerry used to not even be a cat and a mouse. I don't think a lot of people knew that. And I forgot what they were, but I think they were people. I think they were people, Tom and Jerry. That's how they started out. Anyways, long story short, those cartoons were so unbelievably racist. And I don't even believe in racism, but if you were to check out those old school cartoons, they were unthinkably racist. It was just like, I couldn't believe somebody had the imagination to make those things up. All right, and it blew my mind back then. And I wasn't out there boycotting, like, I didn't say, oh, get rid of history and stuff. We can't have this. I was just like, damn, these unbelievably, just unmistakably racist cartoons all over the place. But who cares? We don't even talk about that. I don't care about cartoons. All right? Who's watching the Looney Tunes these days anyway? All right? I don't care nothing about it. Are liberal policies hurting the black community? Yes, I don't care. All right, now it sounds bad when I say it, but I'm just saying it about everything. I just don't care. All right, the Brokenhearted Sunday live stream. I do care about that. That's just another channel. That's just another Brandon. He's the man. I would want to go see his stuff, but I'm doing a live stream right now, and I don't know I can handle that all that technology. All right, you see all this stuff? It just keeps going and going and going. Blackie McBlack. And we got Caitlin Bennett's challenge to BLM protesters. I got to admit to you, when I see Caitlin Bennett, and I've been a fan of hers for a long time, from like pretty much the very beginning, it's like I like her style. All right, you might say, "Oh, why? Because she's an attractive lady." Yeah, basically, that's most of it, pretty much. All right, I'm not, but also I wanted to point out that it's so interesting because I can see whenever I look at her face, I do see exactly why people hate her guts, like hate it. And there's people who are like pro-gun and stuff too, and they're just like they might agree with Caitlin Bennett on like pretty much everything, but they still very much dislike her face. And I could see it. Hate her face, and I could see it, but I like it. I don't know, I'm a fan of it. And so I know that most people out there probably are very annoyed by her face, and they see her as like a person who likes to rile people up, you might say, what do they call them, a provocateur or a troll. I'm a fan of the trolls. I just wanted to put that out there, all right? But you see what we got here and stuff. If you're catching the visual, there's a lot of stuff going on. Some stuff is random. Why do men hate on each other? Yeah, it's a competition going. Human beings are very much about this competition stuff. And I think, it's pretty much leading us down. I mean, it is kind of why America, quote, America was so great, is because we seem to be very competitive back in the day and stuff, and then we started like just balling all over everybody, and it's competitive. People like that. People like the idea of the fact that there's a competition, and that means that you can kind of climb your way up the ranks and stuff. You could be born poor, and you don't have to die poor, basically. In fact, most people literally don't have to die poor in America. And you can't even say that about other places around this dreidel-shaped earth that we're on. You can't say that about these other places. That's not the case in all these other places. In America, I'll tell you, dead for sure, dead for certain. You can be born poor and just live a simple life, and you're just gonna acquire all sort of money. It's just nuts. So this thing of opportunity, speaking of opportunity. It's unbelievable. So people have gotten all of this, this Black Lives Matters thing, which is $1 billion business, by the way. I've come to find out they just got $1 billion. So it's talking about amounts of money that we just can't wrap our heads around, right? And they're talking about all of this, and they're gonna be drumming up these news stories and stuff, and doing it any kind of way, because that's their agenda, right? And we've established that a long time ago. So I'm not hating on them, right? They got an agenda. It's like, man, we should have our own agenda and stuff, man. And what we talk about right here, right now, because we are kind of running out of time, and I want to get to the meat and potatoes. I do gotta say, I forgot to mention, I do plan to have call-in shows, and I want that. And like, that's what I want more. I don't even want to be talking so much. I want to hear what y'all gotta say. To be quite honest, I still don't have my phone hooked up. All right, and real briefly, there's been other things that I've been taking care of on the outside of the internet recently, and I know I said I would post it up on social media. Give me a minute because I've been slacking on that. I'll just let you know that real briefly over the past few days, I've been was doing some gardening, or you know what I'm saying, like yesterday I put up a fence for the garden, and then today I did all the planting up in the garden. I was getting it done, and that's garden number two. There's a garden down the street, or a little ways off and stuff. They're both pretty close by. Now I'm administering to two different gardens. I still have all these plants, gonna sell some of the plants, but at the same time I'm looking to maybe even get a third garden. I don't know where, but I'm looking. I got my eyeballs looking out for it. All right, and so it kind of takes time. This weekend I got wore out hard, and it's so hard that you wouldn't believe it, but it's so hard that I couldn't even hook up my phone. Something that'd be so easy when you think about it. Honestly, it's like I look at myself and I'm like, oh, you're so lazy. But honestly, I physically can't do it. I want to hook up that phone though. I got to get it hooked up by this. I mean, honestly, tonight probably I'll wind up hooking it up because Sunday evenings just got a lot of opportunity to fiddle with stuff, right? And so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do that. But this time, right now, since it is kind of a monologue, and since y'all be totally like just starving me of comments, I see what y'all are doing to me. Put me on the spot. All right, I want to go back to a theme. We have themes that, admittedly, I keep repeating over and over, just because I gotta say I'm very fascinated with it. And you might say, well, I'm a weirdo. I'm a damn weirdo. And I can't even argue with you on that. Yeah, probably I am. Right? But if the news is going to have their agenda, and their agenda obviously is laid to all sort of destruction, and that's going to be smoke and mirrors, for the fact is they financially screwed us the hell over. Us and our children and our children's children, they all screwed them all over so hard, and they're continuing to do it. All right, and then they're going to blame it on, oh, COVID. It was a lockdown. Oh, we saved your lives. Remember, we saved all your lives. But meanwhile, the economy suffered, and then we had these riots, and we couldn't help it. But y'all wanted to have riots, and we were showing it on the news all the time, and we telling everybody that that's the agenda. That's their agenda, right? It's all smoke and mirrors. Obviously, you're not supposed to believe any of it, but a lot of people do. All right, and meanwhile, it's also very sinister. I gotta say. Like, I'm not a black person, right? I don't know if that bothers you by saying that. I have nothing against black people, all right? But I'm just not black, all right? So it might not even be my peak interest. It's just that, like, now it's the main focus of everything. It's not exactly like I would go out of my way necessarily. It's not that I don't know I know black people, and that's not even a big deal. I don't want to bring up all the black people I know and be like, oh, look at all the black people I know. It's like, how it doesn't even matter to me, right? But it's so sinister what's going on. For those people who can't see, it's being revealed to us only recently, all these weird, wild things. So sinister. You got the BLM movement, which quite obviously is ran by some lesbians, right? And God bless them. Am I hating on him? Am I being some like hateful person by saying, well, it's ran by some lesbians? All right, well, whatever. Okay, it's ran by some lesbians or whatever. And they really like this lady named Asada Shakur and stuff, and that's very controversial. And they chant her chants and they study her studies and stuff like that. And that's all controversial. It's kind of weird. These ladies, right? And it's run by lesbians for whatever reason, and they're getting over $1 billion right now, and that's just on record and stuff, man. So that's wild. Look at all that money, but you'll notice, all right, and everybody's put together the pattern. The pattern wasn't that hard. You'll notice that the instances they talk about are specifically either white police officers or white citizens, such as those people over there in Georgia, if I remember correctly. Like they shot up that up guy named Ahmad. All right, so if it's those people, if it's hillbillies or if it's the police and they shoot a black person, all hell breaks loose, and that's exactly. You'll notice that that's the pattern, right? There's nothing else. Really, nothing else. They might mention from time to time, oh, a lady got shot, oh, a black lady, she got shot, but she has to be shot by the police or some hillbillies, right? Kind of find out that that's actually, in the whole scheme of things, pretty rare, to be honest. And if you compare it to, say, black folks shooting the police, they do it a lot, right? As that's not to say most black people, obviously most black people don't do it. And the great majority of instances between black people and the police go over just fine. Why? Because they have white privilege. Come to find out, it just means don't resist the police. All right, so they take the small minority, it's ran by these lesbians, right? And so they know it's the formula, right? And so they speak about these deaths, and they're always the same. It's never like an upstanding person in the community. And then everybody's like, oh, what you mean that person deserves to die? And it's like, no, you're stupid. You're the one who's stupid. I'm just saying, if you're going to pick an example, why don't you pick a better one, all right? Like, for example, Tamir Rice. Wasn't he that little kid? He was just carrying around a cap gun. That's actually a pretty good example. If I had to be honest, I mean, like, he wasn't living a life of crime. So a lot of these people be living lives of crime. But you also notice they're males. You notice that, right? Males, right? Black males. And they carry on. They're like, y'all keep shooting our black men. You might have heard it before. Y'all keep shooting our black men all over the place. We don't understand why you keep hunting down our black men all over the place. It's like, okay, you're taking advantage, and everybody can see it at this point, unless you are so in love with lies that you have to buy into it. But you're taking the unfortunate demise of these guys, and lots of times they are resisting arrest by the police. And if it wasn't true before, it is true now. If it wasn't before, it is now. That you better not resist the police ever, dude. And in fact, if some people say, oh, do you deserve to die for resisting the police? Kind of do. Yeah, you kind of do. Now you do. I mean, maybe not back then. You do now. At this point, yeah, because it would make sense that they would be kind of like scared for their own selves. You might say, oh, there shouldn't be the police. Well, I'm sorry about it, but we need the police. That's actually a crucial thing for society. All right, so anyways, that formula, they'd be resisting. They got criminal backgrounds and this and that, and they're taking advantage of those folks. All right. Meanwhile, on the back end, like I said, these are some lesbians or whatever. God bless them. They're doing their due diligence or whatever. I don't know. They got an agenda. And also, speaking of that, I always hear about this agenda. And it might be my own agenda, but I'll keep pounding it home because I want it. I want it to be pounded home. Now, it's kind of weird. You might think I'm a dang weirdo, but I've got to share it with you. Transgender, I don't know. What do you put in? Shot? You could put killed. I don't want to do any of this stuff to transgenders. Like I said, everybody. I love everybody. Everybody. It doesn't matter. All right? But I just want to put this out, because you never know what you're going to find in the news. But typically, if you're to type in transgender got shot or transgender killed, you're going to know that it actually happens probably statistically on a statistical basis. I'm willing to bet that it's probably true, all right? But I can't say for sure that it's probably true that a transgender gets shot and killed about as much, probably as often, or close to as often as a black male gets shot by the police for whatever reason. And if you were to be more specific, by a white police officer. Right? When you're judging the statistics, those are either neck and neck or the transgenders are getting shot more. Right? You might wonder, well, statistically, they're getting shot more. And if if the Black Lives Matters people are lesbians and stuff, then why wouldn't they want to focus on that? Why wouldn't they want to? Because they do kind of focus on the transgender violence. Trust me, there's people who talk about it. It does show up in the news, but it's not like a national. Everybody, let's talk about it, and also let's extort people for money right now type of operation, which is exactly what this is. $1 billion business, all right, on record. So you think, well, why wouldn't they talk about these stories? Well, the reason is actually quite simple. And in fact, a lot of y'all probably already know the reason, and I wouldn't even have to bring it up. I might ask you, how the heck do you know this? But who knows what you've been seeing on the news, right? They made me click on this one article, and I don't want to go in a, Lord knows I don't want to watch the NPR or listen to the NPR. Transgender health, that's okay. I just want to read the headlines, but it's to give you a taste. We've discussed this before, but to drive it home, it's interesting that statistically, the transgenders are getting killed probably just as much as unarmed black male individuals, right? So transgender health protections reversed by Trump administration, that is probably fake as hell. It's NPR. All right, they hate Donald Trump, and that's what they live to do. 2 black trans women were killed in the U.S. in the past week as Trump revokes something or other. So, like I said, it does go in the news. You ain't seeing this really on CNN, but they do it in a backdoor way, right? But they do want to talk about it. And meanwhile, they love it. Oh, gosh, do they love it? They love it like I love a bacon and egg sandwich on a Saturday morning. They love it. With tomato and mayo and stuff, dude. They love it. Advocates, and I'll explain to you why, which I've done before, but it's like so sinister. That's what I got. That's what I got to stress. That's why I keep bringing it up, because it is so sinister. Advocates, friends urge action after transgender woman's dismembered body. Wow. I mean, I didn't even know about any of this. Like, I haven't looked at transgender being shot news for a good while now. So I didn't know about any of this, what we're looking at right now. Transgender woman, originally from New York, brutally killed in Philadelphia, police say. And here's the thing, you might already know, and we're not even going to say it yet, but we're going to say it. You might already know what happened here, and I certainly already know what happened here, and we already know what happened here. We already know. But we're not even going to say it. Meanwhile, people out there who doesn't know, they'd be like, oh, what are they talking about? How do they already know what happened? How? From the headlines? You already know what happened? Yes, I do. I know exactly what happened. Okay, black transgender man fatally shot by Florida police. There's something by the Florida police. How come I haven't heard about that so much? That's kind of interesting. Isn't it happening a lot or whatever? They like to talk about it a lot. I think it happens a lot. Transgender man fatally shot by officer after pointing a gun. Well, maybe that's why they didn't talk about it. That could be why they didn't talk about it. You think? The fact that he was pointing a gun at them while they shot him to death? All right, LGBTQ community, LGBTQ plus community calls for justice after Tony McDade, a black trans man, shot and killed. Isn't that just so good? They're talking, these are all articles about the same thing. So the LGBTQ QQ++ community calls for justice after Tony McDade, he got shot after he pointed a gun at the police. Details of shooting in Atlanta fuel debate. There's all sort of debate. It's like, dude, New York Times used to be like a paper that people would read. I can't even imagine that no more. Police, trans man fatally shot, pointing a gun. You know how to say, okay, they hype up this, right? See, even in the headlines, you can see, oh, it's shot by the police. Oh, well, so like you basically, you know what happened, minus the fact is that he was pointing a gun at the police. You might have to dig through their articles to find it. Oh, but they're just trying to give you the news in an impartial way and stuff like that. They're not minions of Satan. That's not what they are. But before we get out of here, let's just take a look at this lady. It is breaking news. They talked about 2 trans women on Time magazine. I'm not sure if they might be referring to the one who pointed the gun at the police. We're going to find out. In fact, let's find that out first. Now, if Time Magazine gives me the business and they want to take so long to upload, I don't have time for it. But two black trans women were killed in the U.S. in the past week as Trump revokes, like as though Trump is like spurring on. Of course, that's what they're implying, that he's spurring on transgender violence, discrimination, protections for the trans people, whatever that even means. And Lord knows we don't know what that means. But look at this: two black trans women, Raya Melton in Ohio, Dominique Remy Fells in Pennsylvania were killed earlier this week. Okay, why should I know about that? There's probably been a lot of people being killed. Time Magazine, why are you telling me about this? Say, oh well, they've been killed amid an increasing outcry from activists to protect black trans people. If you never heard of that before, that's literally a movement. And as the Trump administration reversed, meanwhile, the whole thing is so sinister. I mean, really, is so sinister. But we'll get to that in a second. Black trans people, as the Trump administration reversed protections for transgender people in the U.S. healthcare system. According to the local authorities, Milton was shot and killed during a robbery. What? Damn. Okay, so this person got robbed, according to the police. According to their records, they say that person got shot in a robbery in Ohio on June 9th. According to the LGBTQ advocacy group, on the Human Rights Campaign, 25-year-old Milton worked as a home health aide and attended the University of Cincinnati. Two people have been arrested and charged with her murder. A third man, Tyree Cross, has not been apprehended, right? And I don't know how much details we can stand to know about this, but let's just read a little bit further, right? As we get on out of here, I appreciate y'all. Only a day earlier, on June 8th, Dominique Remy Fells was found dead in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the Philadelphia Police Department confirmed to Time Magazine. Now let's take a moment out to think about the fantastical, over-the-top, super ridiculous idea of defunding the police, right? It's an idea that nobody ever uttered for the entirety of my 33 years of living, not even as a joke, really. And so now people are saying it, and they're dead serious when they're saying it, and that's how gone that they are. But it's like, it's just to say, okay, if we defund the police, aka get rid of the police, then who the hell is Time gonna, how are they gonna get confirmed for their articles and stuff, man? Who are they gonna talk to? Directly to Black Lives Matters. On Friday, her death was ruled a homicide, and the investigation is still ongoing. The pain of such a loss is always difficult, but it's especially deep as are in the midst of Pride Month. Oh, God. That's still a thing, and they're still doing that. I mean, how proud can you be with a mask on your face, I guess? A season typically filled with joy and celebration for many in our community. Whatever community, which is a made-up community, there's literally not a place that's just all... I mean, you might say San Francisco. But Milton and Fells' deaths come amidst mass protests in the U.S. and the world. Meanwhile, it's like one of them got robbed, right? Okay, so that's who you call when you get robbed? The police? All right, y'all want to defund them? Doesn't make sense? All right. So Milton Fells, their deaths amidst mass protests against systematic racism and police brutality. Neither one of these had anything to do with the police being brutal on them, might I add, which demands systematic changes. Like, why are you even bringing this up? Oh, because their agenda, right? So while we were talking about racism, while we're talking about the changes that need to be done in this country, we need to talk about the hate. All the hate. Not for Donald Trump, but for trans people. Politically, or particularly towards black trans women. And you know, it's like, it's always about that. You know, it's like, dude, if you're going to pick a group so small as the, quote, trans women community, if it's going to be that small, can you imagine dividing that up too? And so now you're focused on just black trans women, right? And you don't have a care in the world, I guess, for the black, quote unquote, white trans women out there. You can't even care about those people. That's how hateful you are, and it's just obvious and apparent to everybody else. But now you got to focus on the black trans women. You might say, well, the black trans women, In particular, like if you were to research, the movement, if you will, you might say, well, the black trans women, they get brutalized more often. Statistically, yes, that is true. That does stand true, right? We don't really have time to read all this sort of stuff. Now they're going to talk about a Latina trans woman and stuff. All right, we might. I don't know what they're talking about. At the end of the day, I don't care about it really. But okay, they're talking about all the black trans women violence because reportedly, I gotta admit, there is a lot of that. There is a lot of that. More so than any other race, by the way. But check this out. When Alvarez, a 47-year-old Latina trans woman, learned of Fell's death, one of the first thoughts was, no, not again. What in the world? No, not again. She said, black trans women are being murdered. So it's like, dang. Even this even this Latina trans, quote, woman is singling out the black trans women for being murdered at an incredibly high rate. Like I said, a higher rate than, what we were talking about earlier. Being someone from the community, it feels like it's almost every other day at this point. All right. Look, transgender women of color, particularly black transgender women, are disproportionately affecting a fatal violence, impacting on the intersections of racism, sexism, homophobia, biphobia, transphobia, according to the HRC, whatever the hell that is, and blah blah blah. All right. I don't know how long this dang article is because they're not saying anything that's very exciting or important or whatever. They're really not bringing up details. Who really cares? But check out, there's some pictures of the people. May they rest in peace and stuff, all right? And okay, long story short, because we do got to get out of here, all right? We've been here long enough, but the long story short is, it's incredible. It's more than sinister that you have a billion-dollar business that works and it basically pretends to protest. Meanwhile, it's very hard to tell whether or not they're actually rioting all over the place. It's real hard to distinguish, right? Their agenda is completely and solely driven off the back of black males, as everybody can see quite clearly. All right. And they're surrounded by some black lesbians, all right? Who the black lesbians are not getting shot by the police. If you want to check out the statistics, maybe that black person, that person that we saw in the articles, that person was pointing a gun at the police, wound up getting shot to death. It never happens, hardly. But see, they're making all the money. You understand? They don't get shot by the police. These transgender black women do, if you're going to call it that, they do not get shot by the police. Not hardly. It's not even statistical. It really doesn't happen. All right. Meanwhile, they do keep getting murdered. All right. Murdered by who? Oh, it's all a big mystery, and it's something that we don't want to think about too hard, but I'm here to tell you who it is. All right? It's the very black males who y'all are getting all these billions from off of their back. All right, while they get shot up by the police for resisting, because I don't know why, because he had taught them to resist. He taught them that the police were going to murder them all throughout school, all throughout their upbringing and stuff. That's what he taught them the whole time. So they're going to do it. You use them like fools. And you taught them all backwards. And then they get shot up by the police. And then you get all the money for it. They're dead and gone. Who cares about them? You just used them. You used them so hard. And the situation, what we're looking at right now, unfortunately, is you're using them again. Those very same black males, you told them all this nightmare boogeyman stuff, they get shot up in the streets. Hey, they didn't know any better. Now you get all the money. Now you do all the extorting. It was off of their dead bodies that you got it. Right? And you're shameless. You have no shame. And you're going around parading about it, like Mike Brown's relatives or whoever, Trayvon Martin's relatives, literally parading around, getting all sort of money, right? Oh man, it's an injustice to you. You just used your black male that you had, and whatever, they're gone. Whatever, you got that money, didn't you? And so you're gonna use their name and their face to get all that money. Meanwhile, Who's killing these black trans women? Unfortunately, it is the black males. Pretty much 95 to 99% of the time. All right. And it happens so much that they're actually forced to talk about it. All right. And of course, they don't ever want to discuss the details. In their minds, justice has nothing to do with details. Justice is somebody got killed. I whine and cry and I burn stuff down. And you give me money. You give my leaders money. Right? And there's some lesbians, right? Don't worry about that. Right? And they're not getting shot up by the police, but the black males are. Don't you worry about that either. Most of the black males in America are never going to see one red cent from Black Lives Matters at all. In fact, most of the black people who get killed in America, unfortunately, if they do get killed, are never their name's never going to get whispered by Black Lives Matters, right? All right, and the thing is, well, and it's unfortunate, but I've seen it, and it just continues to happen. Why? Because covered up, completely covered up, and absolutely lied about. These people right here, God bless them, they wanted to get their freak on. Right? Actually, one of them probably got robbed. I don't know. It's reported. But for the most part, when you're seeing these stories, you're going to see it over and over and over. They were trying to get their freak on. All right? That might be offensive, but that's exactly what happened. They got their freak on with some black male individual, and that black male individual didn't like it. Right? He didn't realize what was going on. He was sort of inebriated at the time. Once he gets his wherewithal together, realizes exactly what happened, this person gets shot down. And I'm talking like clockwork, dude, every time. Every time. So they got used in that regard. And it would have never happened had these transgender, quote, women just told him, look, I'm a dude. This is a clown outfit. I'm about to do sexually hideous things to you discreetly. And I got a wiener down there and stuff. They would say that. Most of these black males, as drunk as they are, would be like, oh shit, I didn't realize this. I gotta leave now. I'm leaving. They wouldn't have to murder you, but you're lying. And you're lying, and the news is lying about all y'all's deaths. So it's like the transgender ladies, and maybe it's not true for either one of these two people, but typically they slide up in there and lie their ass off, right? Get the black male in a predicament where he just doesn't really know, shoots them all up, and then they talk about it in Time Magazine. Oh man, and who's getting the money? Y'all ain't getting the money. Y'all dead. Y'all dead. Who's getting that money? Time Magazine, BLM, they getting that money. All right. Anyway, shout out to everybody. It's just a surprise thing. I am missing the I Hypocrite right now, and I want to go see it and stuff. And I appreciate y'all. I'm thinking about doing a call-in thing tomorrow and stuff. See if I can get that phone line hooked up and get in some controversy. Like I said, if you heard nothing else, transgender, quote, women are getting shot by black folks because they trick the black folks into having sexual intercourse with them, and then they freak out and they shoot them up, and it happens like clockwork, and nobody's gonna talk about that ever. Anyways, I'll holler at y'all. It is June the 14th, Donald Trump's birthday, 2020.